Hello! I am just so happy because I'm sitting outside the Isabella plantation and the sun has been getting swallowed up by a large dark cloud, and then it broke out just as I was coming close to this plantation and I kept looking at it and saying, wait for me, don't get swallowed up yet. My friend the sun. And it's waited, and I'm sitting on a bench just here to introduce the fourth of this series of videos. It's DurgaMata here, talking about reducing stress, increasing happiness using mindfulness, conscious breathing, and many other powerful and important strategies. Isabella Plantation is a beautiful part of Richmond Park, one of my favourite haunts. So I'm going to share it with you. I've come to this spot because I love these drops hanging from the leaf. Can you see them? They're so pretty. From the earlier rain. Take your thoughts onto your breath and watch your breath. Just watch the breath enter and leave. Watch yourself breathing, and then we slowed it down a little so that our breath became not just conscious, but calmer, deeper and slower. Can you hear the stream? My third video, I introduced breath and breathing. I gave you some exercises and I also explained something of the science behind it. And this is one of the best ways of focusing your mind and calming down all the thoughts that are jumping around like drunk monkeys. Then we learned about breathing and how a lot of people breathe in a vertical way using their shoulders and rising up with each breath. I'm exaggerating it, of course, but we learned about the importance of breathing from the belly and doing horizontal breathing, so that as you breathe in, your diaphragm pushes your tummy out, and as you breathe out, it rises up and the air flows out in a natural way. A diaphragm, the big muscle that goes right across our internal cavity, separating our lungs from our abdominal cavity. Our diaphragm is designed to help us breathe deeply, and when we use our diaphragm, our belly goes out and in. You'll see that in young children and babies, animals and fishes, and that's how we're designed to breathe, from our middle, not just from our chest and our shoulders. I recommend that you use diaphragmatic breathing every day for at least 5 or 10 minutes, and I like to do it when I'm lying on my back in bed before I've got up in the morning. It's a lovely, peaceful way to start the day, focusing on your breath and just noticing that rise and fall of your tummy. You can be aware of your shoulders and make sure that they are quite relaxed and still, not involved in your breathing at all. I think that takes us up to where we got to so far in part 1 of breath and breathing. And the next thing I want to introduce to you is the way that we can change the length of our inhale and exhale, and why that is important.
What if I told you doctors have discovered a miraculous medicine that would allow you to catch yourself in times of stress, sadness, anger, anxiety, or pain, and within moments, regain control of yourself, bring yourself together, stopping the suffering right in its tracks. All natural, laboratory tested, no side effects. But it's not in the pill form. This medicine is yoga, breath control, aka Pranayama in Sanskrit. And do not fear, it is a proven science, not a religion. And anyone can do it. Except for, as my teacher in India always says, a lazy person.
Just for a moment, imagine that you got a bit of a fright or a shock. How did you respond? A sharp intake of breath, and the inhale is linked to our sympathetic nervous system and the fight and flight response. Now think of a situation where you might have been worried, you might have been in trouble, but everything is okay. And you take a sigh of relief. And the exhale is linked to the parasympathetic nervous system of rest and digest.
Let's take the word pranayama, for example. It describes a lot of different breathing practices. And I feel it really sums up the essence of yoga and why we do this. So let's dissect it. First, we have prana, which means the life force. Literally, it's in the air we breathe, it's all around us. And then we have ayama, which is lengthening. So literally, life lengthening through breathing. This ancient yoga practice, it's also really proven in science. If you look at what breathing does, when you slow your respiratory rate, it kicks in the parasympathetic nervous system, right? Lowering your blood pressure, calming your body down, relieving stress. Breathing fast, on the other hand, kicks in your fight or flight sympathetic nervous reaction. It makes your heart race, mind race, out of control. We're going to teach our baby from the moment of conception, pregnant, we're off to India. Doing as much yoga, chanting, and meditation as we possibly can. Then, once our daughter was born, we held her on our chest, and we lay down and we breathed deep as much as we could. Super deep, because we wanted to force her to imitate us. And she would. She'd sync up her breath with ours after, we'd do it long enough. And if she started crying, well then we'd breathe really loud and exaggerate our breath in her ear. And that calming sound would calm her down. We're going to teach our baby from the moment of conception, pregnant, we're off to India. Doing as much yoga, chanting, and meditation as we possibly can. Then, once our daughter was born, we held her on our chest, and we lay down and we breathed deep as much as we could. She'd sync up her breath with ours after, we'd do it long enough. And if she started crying, well then we'd breathe really loud and exaggerate our breath in her ear. And that calming sound would calm her down. And so it would be something like this. When our daughter was a little older and started crying, we would say, breathe. As soon as she started crying, we'd get eye contact, get right in her face, and say, breathe. And then we do it with her. Smiling and breathing. And she normally just jumped right on. We breathe super loud. Let's take a look at this breathing.
Larry, what's the matter? Breathe, honey. Yeah, breathe. Yeah. It's okay. Don't cry, Lily.
So that's what it looks like. She literally went in about 7 seconds from screaming like crazy to like, and she started smiling. And research has shown that you cannot have an emotion in your body any longer than 7 seconds unless you feel it. Remember, anxiety is in our mind, and our mind has to give us the fuel to keep it going. Here's a formula for transforming uncomfortable emotions or experiences with our breath. First, we recognize what we're suffering from. Oh, anger, frustration. Next, we start breathing very deeply. And next, we release it and keep breathing. It will go away. So, speaking of going away, I'm going to leave you with one last fact my scuba diving teacher taught me years ago. It is biologically impossible to have an anxiety or panic attack when you are breathing fully, deeply, slowly. You can't do it. Think of how many billions of dollars are spent each year in anxiety, arthritis meds, supplements, surgeries. Money and time wasted on the symptom instead of healing from the root. And I confess, I did it too. I tried everything from protein shakes and antidepressants to sharp cartilage pills and knee surgeries. Searching for the answer outside, when all along, we have all the tools we need right here inside us.
When we know that, then we can use our breath to induce rest and relaxation simply by extending our exhale and making it longer than our breath in. So we breathe in and then we breathe out slowly. And you'll see in a lot of my videos, I always say, take a deep breath in and a slow exhale. So this is one of the exercises I like to use in the morning when I'm lying on my back in the bed, thinking about getting up and then taking my thoughts onto my conscious breathing, taking some deep, slow, gentle belly breaths and making the inhale shorter than the exhale. Here comes another exercise, and I'll put the details in print. And if ever you find any stress creeping up on you in any situation, wherever you happen to be, take your mind immediately onto your breath and spend a minute or two doing some gentle belly breathing where you make the exhale slower than the inhale, and look at yourself and observe for yourself how effective this can be. Then we come to a technique known as rhythmic breathing. And I'm not an expert on rhythmic breathing, but I know that it can work to heal trauma and to heal grief. It's a very, very powerful science, and I recommend that if you need healing, you look into it and you find somebody who is an expert who can teach you. What it comes down to is counting your in-breath and then counting a pause and then counting your exhale and counting another pause.
Up pretty early, but this morning I don't eat breakfast because I don't want to elevate the heart rate nor my oxygen consumption. I do a little morning yoga and then I stretch my lungs. "20 minutes to go. I undress quickly and I stand ready in my Speedos. The doctor duct tapes a state-of-the-art heart rate monitor to my chest and I feel ready. And I start my breathing routine. Then I get the 1-minute countdown. The doctor takes a blood sample from my finger. They want to investigate the stress level in my body before I dive. I attach myself to the safety line and lower my legs into icy water. Then I signal to my team that I'm okay. I take my final breath, I pack a few times, and then I plunge into the clear liquid blue. And then I start swimming. Then I find the perfect balance between arms and breaststroke leg. It's like a frog kick. And I have to optimize my technique so I don't waste oxygen. And I just sleep almost in that emptiness and that freedom. I kind of do everything in a slow motion. Maybe I take a little look, where's the line? Okay, I'm on the right track. And then I know when I come to the end, I have to look for the hole, and I exit with joy. I'm okay. Yeah. And it's because I want to show that our body can do amazing things. Please never dive alone, because there are no warning signs. A man called Andrew, only 24 years of age, and he was sent to Iraq as an army gunner. And quickly, he started developing trouble sleeping. He also showed other symptoms of PTSD, of post-traumatic stress disorder. And he was given as many as 20 different medications and antipsychotic drugs. Think about that for a moment. 20 different hardcore drugs. That is not only extreme, that's extremely disgusting. So I thought to myself, there must be something I can do. There must be a better way. Because using drugs will never get to the root cause of problems like PTSD and stress. It will only numb the pain, and you might as well just get high or get drunk. Breathing and breath holding, however, I felt could heal the wounds. So I booked a pool and some hotel rooms in the most beautiful hotel I could find in Southern California, where I lived at that time. And then I let the word out, and I invited veterans to come and join my PTSD liberation workshop. And one of these people was Jeff.
My name is Jeff Grace. Just finished up the PTSD liberation workshop. I was diagnosed with PTSD and medically discharged because of other injuries, along with the PTSD was grouped into that. And I struggled with it every day. And one way or the other, you know, anything from just the lighting is right, the sun's the right position, some dirt or sand blows across the road, and stuff like that, and boom, I'm back in Iraq or Afghanistan. I've been deployed to both, and I've seen the typical things. I've been in IEDs, I've been shot, I've had my buddy in my hands, and he passed, you know. I've been through all of that. And so here I am, the last day of the PTSD liberation workshop, and I've been able to remember many childhood memories that PTSD has clouded, you know, because my brain has been just blocking out things, and now I'm able to remember them, you know, good things from my childhood. That's priceless. This morning I woke up, and I have not remembered a dream, and I can't even tell you, more than 2 years. And this morning I woke up and I remembered my dream, and it was a good dream. And I just, you know, I was just so happy, you know, and I yelled into the other room at my girlfriend, like, "Ah, I'm so happy." You know, so through his training of breath holding and meditation, and it's not some hippie term, meditation. Look, I'm a vet, you know, I'm young, I'm only 28. I've seen the shit, as vets would call it, as we call it, you know. I'm here to tell you that it works. It's not something to even laugh at, you know. I've gotten better because of it. Yeah, I can't stress enough how important this has been to my life in general. I can actually like imagine and smell and see and almost like I could touch things from my childhood that were non-existent before, at all. And I was really depressed. Just that alone, to have your childhood memories literally stolen from you, because my brain would always just be like, no, restart from this point, forget everything in your past. And it was really hard. It was a struggle, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how many therapists I went to. I won't get into the whole going to see a psychiatrist and all that thing, but because I've been to many, clearly I still couldn't remember anything. So this worked though.
Over the years, thank you, my team and I in Breathology have been collecting data about PTSD, and I want to share some of the most interesting results with you here today. First of all, of course, we often connect veterans and PTSD, but we saw that sexual assaults actually was reported higher, and the vast majority of people, when they answered what had caused the PTSD, was actually personal tragedy. The feedback was rather devastating because nearly 70% reported that after 5 years they were still struggling and suffering. This led to a few realizations. First of all, PTSD is a global tragedy. It's something that hits not only families, it devastates communities, countries, and we absolutely need to do something about it. It made me realize that I needed to transition in my life, go from passion to purpose. I needed to quit or stop being this world champion freediver, flying all around the world, doing my crazy circus, to actually using my experience and expertise to help people that are suffering. And today, I want to share another result with you, because after the dive under the ice that you saw a few minutes ago, the doctors took another blood sample, and they saw that there was no change in stress level in my blood, in the stress hormones. And this puzzled them because I'd been under such extreme conditions. But I truly believe that we can all learn to manage stress, PTSD, and we can learn to become comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. I call it relax on demand. When you hold your breath, you activate a natural response in your body called the mammalian dive response. I like to call it our inner dolphin, and you all have one. And when that dolphin wakes up, you trigger the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve that runs from your brain to your heart. So you actually do get a physical contact with your heart. It also runs into your lungs, your internal organs, and your intestines. And it's a part of the nervous system called the parasympathetic, or rest and digest. When you hold your breath a little longer, the diaphragm starts to move. You build up carbon dioxide. Now, you might think you're getting a good abs workout, and you are, but you're also releasing and dissolving stress, trauma, and fear from the solar plexus region. When done correctly, breath holding is power and magic. It can help you heal, it can help you change broken patterns, and it can make you make better decisions. It can even help you transform stress into relaxation.
Let's do some coherent breathing with the chimes. So you're going to hear a high tone and a low tone. You're going to breathe in and out through your nose. It's going to be relaxed and effortless. And just follow my lead. I'm going to help you. You are in part retraining your mind. Years of stress makes your mind jump all over. Kind of like a dog with no obedience training. So when people walk their dog, who walks who? Usually the dog walks the person. Okay, your ordinary everyday mind, which is all you need for a lot of things in your daily life, is kind of creating so much stress and drain inside you. So this is a way of beginning to retrain that mind, so your mind with the coherent breathing works so much better and is coordinated with your body and your spirit. So there's a low tone, and there's a high tone. Let's do it together, if possible, with eyes closed. Breath out, the belly gently contracts. Breath in, the belly gently expands. Breath out, relaxing your body more and more with each breath out. Breath in, belly expands, and breath out, it gently contracts. Breath in, and breath out. Now, in a moment, we'll begin to use our imaginations to further enhance the ability to get rid of old stress. It's like each round of breathing and movement and meditation we do removes a little more stress. Breathing in, imagine your awareness in the breath flowing up to the inside top of your head, and then back down to the sit bones and the muscles in your pelvis. Breath in, and breath out. Breath in, and breath out. Breath in, up through your body, top of the head. Down through the body, down through your legs, out through the balls of your feet. Now breathe in from your feet, up the legs, through the body, top of the head. Breathe it out like you feel a cool bubbling spring from the center of the balls of your feet. Just imagine.
This is a magical place. Underneath a willow tree. And lots of ducks dabbling in the water. I should think they're hoping that I brought them something nice to eat. But I haven't. I'm just enjoying the trees and the beauty of their home. Look at the ripples. So beautiful. It's very, very powerful technique. That brings me to the last of the breathing exercises that I want to share with you, and this is one which I have used a lot over the years. You can see I'm lying down on a bench here so that I can actually hold the text up by the camera. And it might look a bit strange, but it's the best way of doing it that I can find. Question: would you speak a little about proper breathing in meditation? Sri Chinmoy. If you're a beginner and want to breathe correctly, you should sit with your spinal cord erect. Now, while breathing, you have to think of purity first. When you breathe in, if you feel consciously or unconsciously that the breath is coming directly from God, from purity itself, then the breath can be purified. When you breathe in, try to breathe in as quietly as possible so that if someone placed a tiny thread in front of your nose, it would not move at all. And when you breathe out, try to breathe out even more slowly than when you breathed in. If possible, leave a short pause between the end of your first exhalation and the beginning of your second inhalation. If you can hold your breath for a few seconds, but if it's difficult, do not do it. Never do anything that will harm your organs or respiratory system. Each time you breathe in, try to feel that you are bringing into your body peace, infinite peace. Now, what's the opposite of peace? You all know: restlessness. When you breathe out, please try to feel that you are expelling the restlessness of your inner and outer body, all the restlessness that you see and all the restlessness that you see all around you. When you breathe this way, you will find restlessness leaving you. I equate negative thoughts, anything negative in your mind, as part of that restlessness. any thoughts, to be honest, because when you meditate, you want your mind to be completely quiet. After practicing this a few times, please try to feel that you're breathing in strength and power from the universe, from the cosmos, and when you exhale, try to expel all your fear. When you breathe out, all your fear will come out of your body. Now, this is something I've used a lot. Breathing in peace, breathing out restlessness, breathing in strength and power, breathing out fear and weakness. I do it very, very often. Not necessarily every day, but very, very frequently in all kinds of situations. Anytime that I've got to do something difficult or challenging, I will use this exercise. After doing this a few times, try to feel that what you are breathing in is joy, infinite joy, and what you're breathing out is sorrow and suffering and melancholy. Now, I've done this one frequently, not only for myself. I do it for myself, and then when I really feel I'm in the zone and I'm feeling that flow of joy coming in and all the sorrow and suffering and sadness going out, I'll bring into my mind one of my friends or some situation in the world that I know that's distressed or suffering. And I will breathe in the joy for that person or that situation and breathe out all the sorrow and sadness that I can. And you really do feel the power of this once you've practiced it a few times. Another thing you can try when you breathe in is to feel that you are breathing in not air, but cosmic energy. Feel that tremendous cosmic energy is entering into you with each breath, and that you are going to use it to purify yourself, your body, vital, mind, and heart. Feel that there is not a single place in your entire body that has not been occupied by the flow of cosmic energy, and then feel that you are breathing out all the rubbish inside you, all the undivine thoughts, the impure actions, obscure ideas, anything inside your system that you call undivine, anything that you do not want to claim as your own. Feel that you are exhaling it. You can do it while you're driving, you can do it while you're on the phone waiting for someone to answer on one of those interminable waiting queues. And instead of getting a feeling of frustration and impatience, you feel empowered and purified. Sri Chinmoy continues, this is not the traditional yogic pranayama, which is more complicated and systemized, but what I've just told you is the most effective spiritual method of breathing. You'll soon see that what you're doing is not imagination, it is reality. In the beginning, you have to use your imagination, but after a while, you'll see and feel that it is not imagination, but reality. You are consciously breathing in the energy which is flowing all around you in the cosmos, purifying yourself and emptying yourself of everything undivine. But this breathing has to be done in a conscious way, not in a mechanical way. If you can breathe this way for 5 minutes every day, you will be able to make very fast progress. And life is all about progress. It's not about success. It's not about wealth. It's about progress. If you want to learn meditation, I recommend you get a real teacher, a real master, someone who has inner height. But when it comes to mindfulness, positivity, and conscious breathing, I can be of service. Now that finishes all the things I've got to say about breath and breathing. So it's the end of Breath and Breathing Part 2. But for this series of 4 videos, I want to include a little bit more. Can you hear the water? I'm standing right by the stream. When it comes to reducing stress and increasing happiness, conscious breathing and mindfulness are 2 of the most important strategies I teach. But the other thing that I want you to do is practice developing an attitude of gratitude. For your next exercise, just take a piece of paper, set your timer for 2 minutes and see how many things you can write down that you have to be grateful for just from today. So reflect on today, think of when you got up and what you did, if you've eaten anything, if you've met anybody, all the things that have happened today. How many things can you write down in 2 minutes that you feel gratitude for? There is so much to be grateful for, even for the capacity to be alive. Thank you for my life. Even for the fact that there's a universe and a planet to live on. Gratitude for this beautiful universe and this planet. And even for the breath we breathe, the air that we breathe and the capacity to breathe. Gratitude for the atmosphere, for the air and for the breath we breathe. And gratitude for my health and strength so that I can breathe. When I want to just calm my mind and be in the moment is gratitude. This is one of my favourite corners of Isabella Gardens, and it's called the Still Pool. And all those bushes at the back are azaleas. If you come here in May when the azaleas are in bloom, it's a sheet of colour and it's all reflected in the water. And the final story I'm going to tell you is to do with gratitude. And it's about a neighbour I had. He no longer lives there. I hope he's still alive, but he may well not be. He was quite a young man, I would guess in his 30s, and he had a terminal illness. And instead of feeling sorry for himself or going into depression or feeling resentful, he started each day by going down into the garden barefooted, stretching his arms above his head and saying to the clouds and the sky and the universe in general, "Thank you, God, for giving me another day." And he introduced me to the importance of grounding or earthing, which is to spend some time regularly with your bare feet on the grass or the earth so that you can balance your energy with the energy of the earth. What this young man taught me was the power of choice. I used to think that since the root of spirituality is sincerity and self-observation, being honest with ourselves, that if you weren't feeling very cheerful, it wasn't right to pretend that you were. But when I reflected on this young man's story, I realized the power of choice and the importance of choosing cheerfulness and choosing gratitude, even if we don't feel happy and positive, choosing to take a positive attitude. Because within that choice is power, and that's where our courage grows. Isabella Gardens is always beautiful, but it really is important to choose cheerfulness, choose gratitude, however you're feeling. Choose putting a smile on your face, choose saying hello to people, good morning, or how are you feeling, or how's the day, or something cheerful, even if you're not feeling great, because the things we do have power, the things we think have power, the things we say have power, and we can choose to use that power to give our lives less stress and more happiness. I don't think anyone can honestly say that they never feel stressed. We can learn how to stay on top rather than being swamped, and I call this surfing the stress. And the more we practice, the better we can get at it. And also, the more we practice, the more it changes our attitude towards these waves of stress, these difficulties and problems that come up in our lives. Instead of seeing them as a pain in the neck, we can see them as opportunities to practice our strategies. I believe that we all do have a sun of happiness in our heart. You only have to think back to children and what we were like as children. Children wake up full of joy, full of energy, ready for the day. And we were like that once. As long as they're getting enough food and security, children are bursting with happiness, bubbling with laughter. And that is our birthright. Why have we lost it? All the problems and the stresses of life have just buried it. But we're not helpless. We can start here and now, whatever our situation is, wherever we are, and practice these strategies. They have power. They are transformational. Try them for yourselves. Mindfulness, living in the now. Conscious breathing, visualization, and developing a courageous, cheerful and positive attitude towards life, and a strong attitude of gratitude. Thank you for traveling with me, and have a brilliant day. Bye.